and food. You at least are ready for something, because it won't be zombies, but it will be something sooner or later.
Preparing for a zombie apocalypse actually prepares you for a lot of other things. So it's not necessary. If that's what it takes to get you interested, then great, go for it.
Pretended zombies. Pretended zombies. Just get ready. Just definitely have food, have water, have all that stuff available for your family.
On to the email, TNT@twit.tv. Steve in Tokyo says, I'm an English teacher living in Tokyo. Wanted to share some of the website I'm using to stay up to date on the latest developments. RSOE. And the link is hisz.rsoe.hu. They have an alert map and a list of all disasters around the world, including the information and position of earthquakes soon after they happen, as well as information about the nuclear plants, which are all over the news. Yesterday in Tokyo, radiation levels spiked to about 8 times normal background levels for a short time. Although Tokyo is 250 kilometers away from the failing plant in Fukushima, there's always a risk for radioactive materials to be carried on the wind. The Natural Research Lab has a page tracking the radiation in Tokyo at park18.wak.com, as well as a live Ustream video of the Geiger counter we were talking about earlier. Aftershocks have been occurring consistently, and as I was writing this, there was a 6.0 that hit about 75 miles southwest of Tokyo. Given everything that's happening combined with planned rolling blackouts, a lot of companies are shutting down for a while, including Sony.
Oh, that is amazing. Got another email here. Some news today. No rolling blackouts near Kamiuka in Yokohama. Every area is going to be subjected to this until the end of April, as stated today. These blackouts take down stoplights, trains, and residential areas. Many people were caught off guard today as train lines either shut down partly through the day or never started. My wife works in Tokyo and attempted to go to work but didn't make it. Many people where I work made it in, but found the trains would not stop running, or would stop running before leaving work. Arrangements were to be made to let them go early, as they would have a long walk or a bus ride. Ride sharing is coming up so those with cars can help those without to get close to home. Some folks walked up to 4 hours Friday to get out of Tokyo. Boy, that's amazing.
In fact, competitors may have a hard time clearing their inventory. Market researcher DisplaySearch said Apple will likely be dominant tablet maker through 2012, when the playing field will level out. The company pretends that in 2016, 260 million tablets will be shipped, a 333% increase from estimated 2011 sales.
Internet Explorer 9 arrived yesterday and was greeted with warm reviews. It's been nearly 2 years since IE8, and it looks like the time spent developing 9 paid off. Internet Explorer 9 brings much better web standard support, better performance, and hardware acceleration for faster graphics and animations on supported PCs. Reviewers seem to also be taken by the new minimalist interface. And no Clippy.
No Clippy. Clippy's been dead for a long time. Never bring him back. New Adobe Flash Player, new Adobe Flash Player vulnerability. They kind of go together. Adobe announced a flaw that may cause crashes and potentially permit the hijacking of systems. The issue also affects the company's Reader and Acrobat software products. Adobe has found it's being actively exploited in the wild, too, via a Swift file embedded in an Excel spreadsheet. Fix will come in a patch at the beginning of next week.
According to Bloomberg, Google plans to install thousands of Verifone near-field communication readers, the ones that allow wireless payments at merchants in New York and San Francisco. Google's test, quote, may combine a consumer's financial account information, gift card balances, store loyalty cards, and coupon subscriptions on a single NFC chip on a phone, and begin within 4 months. Rumors are also out that the next iPhone will not have NFC. Wow, combining everything. I can't imagine anything going wrong with that.
A lot of controversy today from developers who accuse Apple of intentionally slowing down web apps in order to nudge people towards the App Store. The issue revolves around the fact that JavaScript acceleration exists in the browser in iOS, but not in the rest of the OS. That means a web app saved as a link on the home screen will run slower than one run in the browser. And the debate is whether this is a bug or a feature.
Hey, you paying to watch a movie on the web? You probably gave your money to Netflix. NPD claims Netflix owns 61% of the market for digital movies, with Comcast running a distant second at 8%. There's a three-way tie for third between DirecTV, Time Warner Cable, and Apple. NPD also says digital video, quote, now makes up 1/4 of all home video volume.
Wow. That's getting to be real right there.
Yeah.
The National Cable and Telecommunications Association, that's the cable's industry trade organization, has a new boss. He's a familiar face. Former FCC chair Michael Powell will become the cable industry's top lobbyist. He replaces former National Cable and Telecommunications Association President Kyle McSlero, who said last week he'll be joining Comcast.
Oh, what a surprise. Goodbye, Google Gears. Google's first attempt at providing offline access to web apps. Google is removing the software from Chrome, indicating the definite wind down of the project. Almost said wind down. Here will be no new Gears pieces, and newer browsers such as Firefox 4 and Internet Explorer 9 will not be supported. We will also be removing Gears from Chrome in Chrome 12. Gears is survived by standards like HTML5's application cache.
So many technologies dying these days. A smart move for many, many reasons, but they're going to wait until things settle down there before they actually bring the iPad to Japan. A lot of people are speculating it may get delayed anyway internationally just because of supply issues. HTC's arrive up for a $50 pre-order at Wirefly. You will need a new Sprint account and a 2-year contract, but a pretty nice price. Verizon is waiving the activation fees for the Zoom and Galaxy Tab if you buy it from them, and that's retroactive to March 1st. So if you bought it March 1st or beyond, you won't have to pay the $35 activation fee. Verizon Wireless also confirms that the HTC Thunderbolt will be coming on St. Patty's Day this Thursday, March 17th, for $250 subsidized. Sony Ericsson Spain confirmed that the Xperia Play coming to Spain April 1st, not an April Fool's joke, and it will cost you €649. I believe that's an unlocked price.
Oh, yeah.
T-Mobile Sidekick 4G from Samsung has been announced. So the Sidekick is not dead. It's going to be an Android phone and coming later this spring. We're not going to be running out of spring pretty soon here. Apple's Phil Schiller says on Twitter that the white iPhone also coming this spring. And finally, we haven't been looking at this lately, but also, we're thinking coming this spring, or maybe very early summer, the new Twit Studios, which you can watch at droptocam.com/demo and see it get built. We have a camera up in the corner, and you can watch basically the Tech News Today area and Leo's set and a little bit of the main hallway through the sets as they build them up. And it's starting to look like a real studio. There's lights hanging from the ceiling and things that don't look like drywall. It's incredible.
Yeah, I am so excited. How did you hire a designer for all that? How do you decide, like, what an awesome blank canvas? I'm so excited to know what the studio is going to look like.
Yeah, Roger Ambrose, the guy who designed the Screensaver set, the second rev of the Screensaver set, is upstairs right now. We actually disturbed him while we were doing our prep.
That's true.
Earlier, but he is working hard to design it. He's the one making sure that it's going to look good, and I'm really excited.
Isn't that just right, though, that he would be the one to design the studio? This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. That's baloney. The whole reason I want this is so that when I'm out at the park, I can stream my stuff. I don't want to have to be at home. I can just watch my TV when I'm at home, and I guess I can use it in the kitchen or something. But that becomes a lot more limited. Wait, Brian, aren't you at home?
Well, that's the thing. I'm not going to be harsh on them for wanting you to watch it at home, because this is a soft way to launch the app and get the technology working. But I am at my home, and I am using my Time Warner cable modem at the moment, which means all I have is a program that just shows me this screen over and over again. It's ridiculous.
So it's a little buggy out of the gate, sounds like.
Yes, a little bit buggy out of the gate. As if by buggy you mean 100% non-functional for a paying customer, then yes,
yes.
A little bit buggy.
We in corporate PR call that a little bit buggy. Not working at all? A little bit buggy.
That's right.
All right. Great news for customers of British Telecom in the UK. At least customers of certain services they provide. BT is making their UK Infinity service bandwidth cap free. They had caps. I think it was 350 gigabyte cap. They're taking them away. They're saying,
often do you ever hear this kind of story?
Exactly. Here's the quote. As BT continues to invest in the network and network bandwidth, we can now remove these restrictions and ensure the experience of the wider customer base. On completion, there will be no individual user controls targeted at atypical users on our BT Total Broadband and BT Infinity products. There are still caps on some other levels of service, but not on these. They do continue to reserve the right to do network management, to do throttling in certain situations where there's large amounts of bandwidth being used, so you can quibble with that if you want. But there is no cap in place as a user.
Dude, more freedom on the internet is almost always a good thing, and this is certainly something I think all of us can be very excited about. In fact, Tom, I'm going to say that this is the beginning of a new era where all companies are going to realize that bandwidth caps are not helpful and that they restrict our use of the products that we're paying for. And I anticipate all companies will soon take this step.
No, I think that's a fair thing, right? BT lays it out. We continued to invest in the network and network bandwidth, and now we don't have to put in caps. We weren't lying before. We just didn't have the infrastructure, but we worked hard. We spent the money. We've got the infrastructure, and now we can do it. So here in the United States, also some news. Starting May 2nd, AT&T will impose 150 gigabyte monthly limits on its currently uncapped DSL service. While it's fiber to the node UVerse subscribers get a 250 gigabyte. So they're capping DSL and fiber. Industry analyst Dave Burstein actually posted on Twitter that AT&T lied to the Wall Street Journal about the need to do this because AT&T said, well, we've got too much network congestion, so, we've got to put in these caps.
Yeah, no, this is a hard problem to fix, right? That's the thing. Because here in America, I don't know how it is in the UK, where all of a sudden they're giving away their bandwidth caps. But here in America, it's hard to fix people using too much bandwidth, right?
Well, unlike cable, in DSL, each customer has a connection direct to the CO, to the central office, and it's aggregated in the DSLAM. That's the access multiplexer. So all they need to do, if there's network congestion, is add capacity to the DSLAM. You don't have that people sharing on the node issue that you have in cable.
Okay, so maybe it's not complicated, but it certainly is going to be very expensive. It's got to be very expensive, and that's why they have to do these caps, right?
Well, it's relatively inexpensive to upgrade the DSLAM and the backhaul connections to relieve congestion. There might be other congestion problems occurring at the local and regional switches, but you can upgrade those. So, no, it's not particularly costly from what I've read.
Okay, all right, no, okay, so it's not costly, but these guys don't have much money, right? They're being squeezed because there's a recession on, right? That's why they don't have the money to invest, and that's why they need the caps, right?
Well, that's an interesting question, Brian. I looked it up. AT&T posted $20 billion in net income on revenues of $124 billion for 2010. $7.8 billion of that $20 billion was from wireline. Most of their profits come from wireless. But they made plenty of money.
Got a plan?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because you can't, if you've got a lot of money, but you're going to be spending a lot of money, you want to save it, right?
Right. Yeah. So that's why we need caps.
Well, AT&T's expenses to operate its network, pay its employees, do network engineering, planning, buy gear, and even pay property taxes dropped 3.2% in 2010.
Well, I'm starting to wonder whether or not AT&T's new 150 gigabyte DSL data cap is justified, sir.
Well, sure, we can add capacity, and sure, we're making record profits, and sure, our costs are going down, but this is a tough business, Brian, and there are no competitors to hold our feet to the fire, so we're going to do whatever we want. That seems to be the message here.
Well, good for them. Good for AT&T shareholders? Question mark? I don't know. I'm trying to find a silver lining on this, and it's killing me.
No, I would venture to say they are lying about network congestion, and I am willing to be proven wrong by those who know. But as far as I can tell, DSL subscribers are going down, and yet they're putting in caps. Profit is going up, and yet they're claiming they can't invest in infrastructure. I just don't understand it.
Now, the TSS Lock in the chat room points out that it's 150 gigabyte on DSL and it's 250 on UVerse, right, and that there's a $10 per 50 gigabyte overage fee. And one of the articles that I read suggested that this may be an attempt to set with really high caps and really permissible penalties just to get the idea in your mind that it's okay to have an upper bound on how much use of the product that you're paying for.
You know what? That would be fine. Actually, if AT&T came out and said, look, we're going to, our business model is to make more money, and we're going to start charging per bit, but to get people used to it, we're going to put a really high cap in, and we'll just charge you $10 per every 5 gigabytes over. That'd be fine, but that's not what they're saying. They're telling a sob story to the Wall Street Journal. Oh, there's just so many people streaming video and so much network congestion, and we just can't afford the infrastructure, so we've got to put, it's not that we want to make money so much as we just got to do this. It's just, it's just the way the internet works.
All right. Thanks, jerks.
Yeah, exactly. VQ is like, that would not be fine if they did that. And I'm not saying I would be fine with that as a customer, but at least I wouldn't consider them hypocrites if they just came out and said that.
Yes. I can totally see where you're coming from.
All right, let's take a quick break, and thank the folks at GoToMeeting. First of all, not only for sponsoring Tech News Today, but they had a great event at South by Southwest, some free breakfast and everything. It was very nice. Good to meet the GoToMeeting guys. Mm-hmm. They're really nice folks, really good folks, and they help you eliminate frustration. Do you like frustration, Brian?
I find it very annoying. It causes an emotion in me. It's hard to put a word to it, but I get all wound up and tight, like I'm not accomplishing what I want. Is there a word for that?
That's frustration. Yeah.
That's what I feel.
I think that's right.
I want less frustration.
Have you ever felt bored and unproductive, especially if you're on a call, like some kind of conference call, some kind of meeting call?
Can I tell you the honest truth? A friend of ours worked for a very large company, and he was staying at my house, and he showed me screenshots of the 18-hour conference call he was on his iPhone where he accomplished nothing all day. It was a colossal waste of his time.
Well, people go off track. People lose interest. They don't know what's going on. They can't see the other person or what the other person's talking about. That's where GoToMeeting can help. GoToMeeting keeps everyone on the same page during the conference call. It makes it more efficient. Everyone can see your screen. They can follow along. Everyone's more focused, more interested, more engaged, and that means you get what you need done faster. You save time. You're more productive. You can do product demos. You can do training sessions. You can collaborate on documents, weekly update calls, just pretty much any type of conference call you can think of. Sign up today, and you will get a free 30-day trial just because you're listening to us talk right now. Go to GoToMeeting.com.
What you're saying?
Yeah.
GoToMeeting equals maximum no frustration.
If you want maximum no frustration, you must go to GoToMeeting.com/tech news right now. Otherwise, you're going to be frustrated. And do you want to be frustrated?
And however much frustration you have, you can have maximum no frustration. Even, I guess you would say less frustration.
Yeah.
But I like more no frustration.
More maximum no frustration is available right now. Have all the meetings you want. One low flat rate. Foin and voice over IP. Foin and voice over IP. That's a new way of doing it. Anyway, phone and voice over IP are included for free. Why would you want frustration?
What are you, a masochist?
Get maximum no frustration at GoToMeeting.com/tech news. And we thank them for their support of Tech News Today. On to Leo Apotheker and his Apocalypse press conference.
I like that.
It was Hewlett-Packard's Strategy Day in San Francisco yesterday, and so we were a little curious what he was going to say. Let's take a listen to Mr. Apotheker's first big appearance as CEO of HP. We're going to lead with our left.
Now, how did James Bond respond